Hello everyone, this is Crystal Wildfire Anthony with another episode of Spreading Like Wildfire here on Muscle Sport TV. Today I want to talk to you guys about injuries. Injuries, aches, pains, things like that you might have going on in your life. I know we all have them at some point in time, especially those of us who are into bodybuilding and fitness. Now, one thing I see a lot of on social media, I see a lot of people talking about it in the gym. They will talk about how their back hurts, their leg hurts, their arm hurts, their shoulder hurts, whether it's an injury, whether it's a chronic problem that they're having, whatever it is, they're talking about, in one post they'll be talking about how they've had to see the doctor for whatever ache and pain it is, and then a couple posts later you will see them going and doing something that is totally bad for whatever ache, pain, and problem they're having. Like, I will see a lot of people post about back problems. Now, I know a lot about back problems. I've had back problems since I was 11, wore a back brace for several years as a teenager growing up, went to Ann Arbor because of my scoliosis. I've had major back surgery. I know a lot about back problems, back pain, back injuries, things like that. Not to mention being a nurse for almost 20 years helps out a little bit too. So I always hate seeing people post things like how bad their back is. They'll talk about whether they've got herniated discs, slip discs, any problem they have in their back, and then I will see them doing heavy squats and heavy deadlifts, and then they're going to the doctor for their back again, and then they're doing heavy squats and heavy deadlifts. Doing things like this, anything that is going to aggravate an injury or a problem that you have, is not hardcore. It is not badass. It makes you a dumbass. Plain and simple. And I'm going to piss off a lot of people with that comment, but it really just is ignorance. If you have a problem, especially a chronic problem, and you go out and do things just for the sake of muscle that are going to make it worse, or if anything, not make it better. But usually when you're doing things like that, you're just going to make it 10 times worse. It's going to aggravate it. It's going to break it down over time. And then you're going to end up having a surgery that maybe you wouldn't have needed if you would have just cut out things in your workouts. Same thing with shoulders. I see a lot of people with shoulder problems, and then they will brag about going hardcore and benching hard in the gym. Benching is such a horrible exercise for your shoulders, guys and gals. But I noticed the guys are hardcore in that benching. They gotta bench, and gotta bench heavy. It's really a horrible movement if you have shoulder problems. And so I really wish people would pay more attention to what their body is trying to tell them. Now, I'm not saying if you have aches and pains to sit on your ass at home and not do anything about it. But you need to work smarter, not harder. Now, you wouldn't look, let's say there's a diabetic out there, and they talk about having to take their insulin and their diabetes and blah, blah, blah. And then you see them a couple posts later posting about how they won this pie eating contest, and how they went hardcore and it was all badass. They ate like 20 pies and they won this contest. You would not be, probably as a fitness person, looking and going, oh yeah, I can't believe they did that, blah, 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 that's great. You would be looking at them and going, you're a dumbass. You have diabetes. You have a medical problem. Why the fuck are you doing something that is going to harm and make your body worse? Why are you doing that? It's the same thing with you people out there with chronic problems or even acute injuries of some kind. Why are you going out there for the sake of bodybuilding or muscle or to go hardcore in the gym? That's a whole other video I'll make one of these days. But anyway, why are you going out and doing things that are just going to aggravate it and make it worse? It makes no sense to me. At no point in time, trust me, the day that you can't move because of your back, and I mean legit move, not it hurts, you legit can't move, you may think twice about those deadlifts and squats that you did. The day that you have to go have shoulder surgery, and then you can never lift the same again after that, you may think twice about those bench presses that you did. So again, work smarter, not harder. There are always movements you can do to work around that. You do not have to do squats and deadlifts to get a big back and big legs. Trust me, there are people out there with big legs and big backs who don't squat and deadlift. You can get a big chest without benching. I actually think benching is a horrible chest exercise. So that's a lot more front delts. So there are things that you can do. Like I said, you don't need to sit at home on your ass. That's not what I'm saying. I've been through enough surgeries And every time I have surgery, whatever type of surgery it's been, I'm always back in the gym. But I'm back in the gym very careful, and I'm not doing things that are going to aggravate whatever problem I have. So you just need to, if you don't know, ask somebody. Ask somebody that has medical knowledge. Ask somebody who's a good coach that knows, physiology and anatomy and can tell you what you can do and what you can't do. That way you don't aggravate these problems. You have to start thinking of long term when it comes to these things, because trust me, once you wear it down and break it down, at that point in time, you can only hope that surgery can fix you, and I guarantee it's never going to fix you to the point of where you were back in, your 20s when you weren't having problems and weren't having issues. Yeah, that doctor may be able to reattach that bicep tendon, but it's not going to probably ever look the same or function the same. He's probably going to be able to put, some hardware in your back to pull it all together, but you're never going to be able to move the same. It's never going to feel the same. You're not going to be able to do all those things that you could have done if maybe you had just stepped away from the ego lifting and just lifted smarter. So I just want you guys to think about all these things that you're doing to hurt yourselves as far as injuries and problems go. Like I said, bones, ligaments, tendons, muscles, all those things have their limits. You can only abuse them so much before they start tearing, ripping, breaking, and falling apart. And, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you don't think about that stuff near as much. You start getting to my age, your mid-40s, and the aches and pains get, they're much closer together and more often. You start paying a lot of attention to what's going on. I stopped squatting and deadlifting years ago because of my back, and I will never do them again. And I have no problem with that. Does that mean I don't go hard at the gym? No. Does that mean that I can't build a physique still that can be competitive on stage? Nope, I can still do that. I just, because of my back problems, refuse to do squats and deadlifts. And if anybody thinks that makes me not hardcore, that's fine. I really don't care. I could care less what other people think of what I do in the gym and how I handle my workouts. So I'm just, like I said, asking you guys, take a good long look at what you're doing, how you're doing things, and are you doing these, like I said, these posts and these exercises just so that you're getting the likes and people following you, and so people go, look how badass he or she is. And when in reality, I tell you what, those people may think that you're hardcore and you're badass, and it's really cool to watch you do those things. But the second that you are out and you are down, everybody is going to be, most people are going to either abandon you or talk shit about you. And that's the reality of it. Other than the few close friends and family that you have that are always going to be there, all these social media people, you're just going to be another one that has come and gone because you now have a back injury or a shoulder injury and you're not the big fitness person that they follow anymore, and they're just going to click and follow somebody else rather than you. So just my 2 cents. Like I said, you guys, try and work smarter, not harder when it comes to this stuff. It really is just the gym. It's not your life. I know a lot of you would like to say it's your life. It really isn't. And at some point in time, you'll figure that out. Everybody does. Everybody thinks their life revolves around the gym and working out. And then at some point in time, it always happens that you realize it really isn't. Your world is not the gym. There's so many other things out there, and you just need to make sure that you preserve things. Like I said, the back is really, really close to me because I have such severe back problems, and so I cringe when I see you guys with back problems out there doing things that I know is doing nothing but aggravating it. And you could get that muscle that you've got with other exercises. So that's my 2 cents for today. Make sure you guys stay tuned and watch for other things coming up on Muscle Sport TV and on Spreading Like Wildfire. We'll get some more videos up here pretty soon. If you have any suggestions for videos that you want to see from me, feel free to always find me on Instagram, crystal.wildfire.anthony. Facebook is Crystal Anthony, although I do probably check my Instagram a little bit more. Or you can always write down in the comments here if there's something you want me to talk about. I am always more than willing to try and talk about any subject. I also do an Instagram Live for myself and Muscle Sport Magazine every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And I tell everybody I welcome any questions, any comments. You can ask me anything you want. So on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, feel free to log into my Instagram account, follow my live, and ask questions, make comments, anything you guys want to talk about. I'm more than willing to try and discuss anyway. Trust me, I know I don't know half of what people think they know. So, all right, guys, thanks for stopping by and watching. Take care.